Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kim and this is Stash Stitcher. This week in my sewing room I thought I'd have another attempt at making the Maison Fauve Tilda Blouse. It's a free pattern and I've had it in my stash for quite a while, and last week I made a navy blue one in double gauze and it was lovely, though it was too big. So I thought I would revisit the pattern again this week and downsize and make a few alterations. So I was really excited to show you my second make, but it hasn't turned out exactly as I wanted, because I have made a silly mistake and I didn't realise that I had made it until I had actually completed the whole garment and tried it on. So it all started with the sizing. So the navy blue gauze one that I made last week and I showed you was cut in a size 48, and the shoulders were just hanging off my shoulders, and it was obviously too big, though admittedly I would still wear it because it's a really nice blouse, but there was lots of spare fabric underneath the arms and it was obviously too big. So I wanted to revisit the pattern and make a smaller size, and I decided, from looking at the make I'd already made, that I would go down 2 sizes. So I would go down from a 48 to a 44, and I was happy with that decision. So I went through the process of retracing the pattern and cutting the fabric out and sewing it up. And when I got to the point where I thought, oh, I'll try it on, and I was really excited about trying it on because I had this beautiful fabric which I've had in my stash, no joking, I must have had it in my stash for a good 30 years, so it has been around for a long time, and it was nice to get it out of my stash because it is a shorter length piece of fabric, and it was just another piece out of my very hefty fabric stash. So I felt really deflated when I tried it on because it was too small. And I did think, why is it too small? It shouldn't be this small. It should be smaller, but it shouldn't be this small. So when I had a look at the pattern, I realised that I had actually traced the wrong size off. So let me just show you how easy it is, because I'm sure we've all done this sort of thing before. Well, I know I have, and I didn't even realise I had done it until after I revisited my pattern. So originally, well, first of all, the pattern's just black lines. There's no coloured lines at all, so that doesn't help because I'm as blind as a bat, so that didn't help. So when I traced off my size 48 originally, I highlighted it with green highlighter pen. So when I made this decision to go down to 44, I went around the size, finding the size on the little guide that they give you, and going around the pattern again in an orange highlighter pen this time, but I actually highlighted the wrong line. I came down another size, so I actually came down to a 42, which is obviously way too small and too big a jump from a 48 to a 42. So yeah, I didn't even realise that when I was busy highlighting the lines, because it is obvious when you look at it. I've come down 3 sizes rather than 2. It just did not register at all. So now I have a Tilda that's too big and a Tilda that is too small, and I felt really deflated, but I knew that I would make this blouse again at some point, and I didn't really want to abandon the pattern at this stage, because I thought if I do and I come back to it and have to retrace it and do all that, I won't do it. So I thought I'll do it now. So I retraced the pattern off completely, and I traced off a 44, And I decided also that I would also do a forward neck adjustment, because I have found a few tops I've made this year in particular. I've made the Marnie, which sits quite close to the neck, and I've made a few others which sit quite sort of snug against the neck, that they were actually I felt like they were too tight and they felt uncomfortable. So I knew that I would have to make a forward neck adjustment on quite a few of the blouses that I had previously made. So I thought, do you know, I'll take the opportunity whilst I'm going through the adjustments with this blouse, that I would also do the forward neck adjustment. So I went and had a look at a few YouTubers that do it, and I've looked through some of my books, and I picked one which I thought was the easiest, and I have filmed myself doing this adjustment so that you can see it within this video. And it's a really straightforward adjustment. Now, when I videoed it, because I was completely engrossed in what I was doing, I do mumble a bit, but hopefully if you just watch what I'm doing, you can see it's very straightforward. Now, the only thing with this pattern is you have these pin tucks in the front. So when I made the adjustment to the neck, I also had to make the adjustment to the facings that go in the front and the back. So the front of the blouse is all pin tucked down and the facing is then drawn off. But you will see it, and hopefully now I've mentioned that to you, it'll be a bit clearer when you get to that part of my little demo. So I'll stand up and show you this second make so that you can see the difference between the one I made last week and this week. So straight away, you can see here, the shoulders here, they are really short. They are so short that the sleeve is actually being pushed up, and it's creating this little puff, which is quite sweet, quite nice. But because it's creating that puff, it's pulling the sleeve up further onto my arm, and one of my problem areas is my bicep. So it's actually pulled the sleeve band up onto my bicep, and it shouldn't be sitting on my bicep, it should be sitting below my bicep. So therefore this is, though it's not tight, it's snug, and I'm aware of it when I'm wearing it. So the change I also made to my revised version is I just added an extra inch to the length of my sleeve, and because this sleeve is gathered into the band, I've just added an extra inch to the band as well. And because it's gathered in, I didn't need to make any changes to the sleeve at all. So it's just the sleeve was lengthened and the band was lengthened, and the gathering, though it wasn't as intense, it was a lot softer. It works for me, so I thought I'm happy with that. Then it cascades down, and it is quite snug under the arms, which isn't a problem. But when I move my arms forward, you get that tightness across the back of the blouse. So I know that this blouse is too small, because I can feel, just, it's not overly tight, but I can feel that tightness. So I know this size is too small for me. Everything else about it is great. It's still nice and flowy, and it still fits around the hips, and the fabric is just gorgeous. It's really, really nice, and I won't be put off by not wearing this. I will wear it, but I will probably wear it under a jacket. I won't wear it on its own, because what I'm finding is the sleeve is just riding up all the time and sitting on that widest part of my arm, which I don't particularly like, and I'm finding that I'm having to just pull my sleeves down slightly, because they should really sit about here. When I've revisited the pattern, that extra length in the sleeve should sort out that problem area. So with that said, I'm going to take you into the forward neck alteration. So I will see you at the other end. So I'm going to do a forward neck adjustment. It's pretty straightforward, and the only things that will change are the front and the back and the facings. It will not affect the sleeves at all. So I'm going to start off with the easier one first. I'm going to do the back first. I'm going to do a very small adjustment. I'm only going to do about 3/8 of an inch and test the garment out, and then if I need to make more I can always move that adjustment again at a later date. So I'm just going to do the measurement from halfway from the shoulder seam across to the back. So it just needs to be a right angle really. So that's halfway across from the shoulder seam. Right, so you can see that I've marked here, and then all I need to do is just cut that out. So I'm just going to use my rotary cutter, my paper rotary cutter, to do that. I'm going to go straight up. So you can see it's been cut out. So what I need to do is I need to move that up by just 3/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to get a piece of paper, spare piece of paper. I'm just literally going to put that underneath. Just take that down. And then from that black line, I'm just going to measure up 3/8 of an inch. Then I'm going to place my section that I took out. Just going to make sure it's straight on that edge, and it should slot nicely in there. And then just sellotape down there. Okay, so just trim that off. This should be nice and straight. And the shoulder piece here needs to be trued. Another loose bit of paper here. I'm just going to stick that under there. I'm just going to stick that down. Okay, true that up. And then with the ruler, I'm just going to bring it from one end of the shoulder seam to the other. That is the first part of the adjustment made. So the neck has been brought up by 3/8 of an inch. Now this would have moved down. If you want to move it up, you can do it, but you can leave it there. It's not going to really make that much difference to your garment. So that is the back. So on the front it is a little bit different because obviously we have this detail here. So what I've done is I've measured each of the tuck lines down, and those are the measurements for each of them. So obviously I want to keep those once I have made the adjustment to the neck. And the same as before, go halfway between the shoulder. I'm just going to go straight across there. Okay, so that's the bit I'm going to take out. So I'm just going to use my rotary cutter to remove that. So in this instance, we're going to move it down by 3/8 of an inch. So just need to find our measurement. So I'm just going to literally arc across, get my bit of section that I cut out. I'm just going to put a bit of tape on that. And then that gets put in, brought onto that line there. It needs to be kept straight there. going to get a bit of paper, put that underneath, sit that down. And then just trim up the sides. So what I want to do now is just read it and put the lines in. So right, so that is the front and back, and what I need to do is I just need to actually do the facings. Right. So the easiest way for me to do the facings is to just literally draw a line, a guideline around the neckline at 2.5 inches. So we have, that's our back, that's our back. Okay. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure that. So that is 2.5 inches. So basically all I'm going to do, I'm just going to go around that neckline, which is so that is our facing. I'm going to have a bit of tracing paper under there. Got this bit. I'm going to pin it to secure it. So goes there, and then that's the facing for the back there, so that fits perfectly. Right, so the front's a bit different because of these tucks, so I've used my little tracing wheel and I've drawn, and I've scored down each of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold over, and it just makes it easier to fold. Fold that one. Fold that one. Right, so with that we can now do the same as we did last time. So just get a ruler and we just measure around 2.5 inches around. So I've got a bit of paper. So I've got my tracing wheel. Perfect. I hope you enjoyed that demo. I do apologise for the mumbling because I forgot to put my mic on when I was doing it, but just by watching it you should be able to see how easy that adjustment was to make. Because I've made that adjustment now, I won't hesitate to make that adjustment going forward in other patterns that I feel that the neck needs to be brought down slightly. And I don't need a lot, I don't need a big adjustment, it's just enough really to stop it from hitting the throat. So I think 3/8 of an inch will work for me, and I will test this pattern out probably next year now, because the weather weirdly has changed so much. The temperature has dropped quite drastically, and I want to start thinking about moving into autumn clothes. So I will come back and make another Tilda, and I know because I've already made all of those adjustments, it is now just a matter of pulling that pattern out and getting it on the fabric, it cut out and made up. So I will be quite excited about revisiting the Tilda next year. After the frustration of making my second Tilda, I thought what I would really want to do is make a palette cleanser garment, and one of those for me is the M6044, and it's a man's shirt. So I decided to make a shirt for my husband, and he had picked out some fabric ages ago for this shirt, and it's really wacky because he does like the more wackier fabrics, and it's really fun. So I made him the short sleeve shirt up. And I love making this pattern up for him because the pattern has already been adjusted, so every time I make it for him it fits perfectly. So it was great just to get the pattern out on the fabric, cut out and sewn up. So I thought what I would do is I would pattern match like I normally like to do, but last week I was on a totally different planet because I pattern matched one side. So I did put the placket on, which is a separate placket, and I did pattern match one side and then totally forgot to pattern match the other side. But thankfully the parrots are actually in alignment, so you don't really notice, and he doesn't notice, which is good. And it still turned out to be a really lovely shirt. So this will probably go in the wardrobe until the weather warms up, unless we get another little mini heat wave, but it's definitely a lot cooler. So I was really pleased to get that done because it sort of really got me back into my sojo. When I plan things, I'm somebody who makes lots of notes, way too many notes. I overthink everything. I watch other people who trigger off more ideas, and I have reams of notes in my notebook. I have a little sewing notebook here, and I make lots of notes of things I want to make, things I want to create, people I watch, ideas that they inspire in me. You know, even watching Sewing Bee and thinking, oh, there's things I want to make from Sewing Bee. And I am one of those people who overthinks. My brain is way ahead than me as a sewist, and I can't keep up, which frustrates me because I'm not the fastest sewist in the world, but I wish I was, because I would probably churn it out. And I do feel I churn out quite a lot already, considering I work, but I'm obsessed with sewing. But I have realised I need to just slow down a bit, because obviously the mistake that I made with the Tilda, and also not concentrating when making my husband's shirts, making me realise that I need to just calm down. So now I'm all nice and calm, I actually went through my notebook and realised there were a few things I have forgotten to do. And one of them was to thank Vanessa for the pattern she sent to me. So thank you, Vanessa, for sending me the Remy Ragland pattern. It's a pattern she decided she didn't want to use, and she gifted it to me, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you so much. I will use it. And the other thing I keep forgetting to do is to thank all of you, because I hit my 3,000 subscribers a few weeks back, and I have kept meaning to say thank you, but I keep forgetting because my head is just racing ahead as per usual. So I thought I want to say thank you by offering a £30 monetary voucher or transfer. So I think the best way to do it is to set a question. For those of you that want to play along, to answer in the comments, and I will collect all of those names and I will put them in a spinner and do the spinny thing, and it will churn out a name, and then I will send that person by bank transfer a monetary amount of £30, and you can then spend that on whatever you want. And that means that it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can play along. So the question I'm going to set is, what are the names of my two friends on the shelf here? So if you put the answer in the comments, I will collect the names, and I will set a deadline of the 27th of August. So not next week, but the week after, I will announce the winner. So I hope that's okay, and I'm sorry it's taken me so long. And it's a great opportunity for any of you that don't subscribe to subscribe. And if you don't, give me a thumbs up anyway, because it just shows that you appreciate the content. So until next time, have a fabulous week sewing, and I will see you all very soon. Take care. Bye.